was a kid that went to go hustle for myself. You know, that's where I started door knocking at 12 or 13. You know, everybody wants to be fucking lazy. How do I do this? They want the answer right away. Did you look? Did you try? Right? Like, hold the door open for one guy, and then that one guy, you know, he's speaking on my stage the next week. Just because I held the door open for him, and then this guy's the fucking biggest NFT creator in the world. Like, we're talking about he creates every NFT for every celebrity.
Welcome to the One Hustle Show, where we're here to inspire,
motivate,
and educate you about other people's hustle in hopes that you can find
your why.
What is going on, everybody? Welcome to the One Hustle Show. Very excited about today's podcast. I got my co-host, New Home Yogi. We got Daniel G here today. Thank you, brother. Appreciate you showing up.
Thank you guys for having me. Appreciate it.
Very last minute, but very excited for today's podcast. I will let my co-host start it off since she knows a little bit more about you, and so we can kind of educate our listeners about who you are, and then we can tell you a little bit about our show, and we can dive in.
So I've been following you for a while, and I look at you as a sales guru in your space, and I look to you for sales expertise. Sometimes, like when I'm stumped on something, I'll scroll through your feed. So it's funny that Eddie aligned and was like, "Hey, do you want him on the podcast?" I was like, "Absolutely, I'd love to get in front of you and like speak to you." So I'll give you a little preface on like who we are. Like, my name is Laurel. This is Daniel. So nice to meet you. This is the first time we're meeting him in person. I feel like I know you from social media, obviously. But where the One Hustle Show came from is I got my license at 18, had him at 18. And, like I've always just like had that hustle. And one of the things that I've found is all you have to do is find one human, one person, focus on that one, and the rest will come. Mm-hmm. So he started out detailing cars underage. He had somebody driving around at 15 years old making six figures. And he just focused on that one. So our license plates say One Hustle and Hustle One.
I noticed that outside.
Yeah. And we own the real estate company together. I worked for corporate America for 15 years.
Is a real estate company called One Hustle?
It's called DC Realty.
After him. So, yeah. DC is his initials. I worked for corporate America. He talked me into leaving corporate America.
Twice. Quit twice.
Oh, wow.
And came to work with me.
And he's like, if you come work with me, I'll retire you in 3 years if you work as hard as you do for
What
them.
made you go back to corporate the first time?
Fear.
Oh, okay.
So I'll tell you a little bit about me really quick.
Uh-huh.
I worked for 7 years for myself very successfully, and I used to talk shit to my mom. I'd be like, I'm never sitting behind a desk. Nobody's ever going to run my life, this and that. And then 2004 hit. I have a child. I'm a single mom. I write 5 offers. I can't get anything accepted because the market's crazy. Tail between my legs. I show up to my mom, and I'm like, Mom, I don't want to come work under you and under your shadow, but I need a builder job. Like, I need to make money. So she put me in touch with one of her friends at D.R. Horton Homes. She hired me. I sat behind a dirt mound in a trailer, never read a set of plans, and sold my whole community. And got sucked into the health insurance, like structure, like consistent pay, and did that for 13 years on a sales floor very successfulally.
Okay, gotcha.
And then I left to work with him in November, like the worst time
Slow
to leave
season,
for real estate.
Horrible time to do that.
And I was like,
How long ago?
2017.
Okay.
And then I left and I made it out like maybe 3 months. And my division president's like, I'll make you a sales manager and
weekends off, high increased salary, stock options, exactly.
And I was like, Daniel, I'm sorry. I'm going back.
Right.
I was like, that's too good to pass up. But what I realized in hindsight, those 2 years in management, managing 66 sales agents, flying to Reno, managing them, Vegas, Laughlin, all of that, gave me a skill set that helped me in our business today. So,
sure.
I don't regret it.
Of course,
but,
yeah.
It was scary to make that jump because you get like comfortable and like that's like easy to get sucked into like. And I've had moments where I'm like, had I just stuck it out for myself and not done the builder thing, I wonder what that would have been like.
Right.
Today. But instead of doing that, I just like go forward, thankful for where we're at, what we're doing, and all of that.
Nice.
So we pretty much want to do the One Hustle Show to pretty much inspire, motivate, and educate people, kind of like on other people's hustles. Everybody has a journey. Everybody has a story. What's the mindset? What are some of the things you've learned? And kind of, let's take it back to like your childhood. People's childhood molds them, whether it's a positive or negative, and it kind of, allows you to get a little bit further, utilizing your childhood, whether it was good or bad. So can you talk about that and a little bit of how that molded you to be the person you are today?
Yeah, like when I was young, I think like everybody goes through the same events just in different detail because, you know, everybody grows up. Some people have a childhood. They experience stress in different ways. We experience anxiety in different ways, right? So my event was my parents split up when I was young, when I was 12 years old. And from that day was the day I got into like my business. And I felt like I was a man that day because, you know, when my parents split up, my dad went to go back. My dad was in retail sales. And he went to go back to work, you know, like 18-hour shifts, right? From morning to night. My mom, you know, she was working 2 jobs. So I would never, like, I was never getting money from nobody. You know, I was just grateful to have a roof over my head. And I was the kid that went to go hustle for myself. You know, that's where I started door knocking at 12 or 13.
Wow.
And then I started with a company. So I started door knocking myself just like every other kid when I was like 12, 13, cutting grass. And then I started with a company when I was 15. Door knocking. I just always knew that nothing was going to be given to me in life. You know, I wouldn't go up to my dad and ask him for a candy. I wouldn't go up to him and ask him for nothing. So I started my hustle at a very young age. And, you know, at the time, yeah, I would say, you know, I was, oh, why am I doing this? My friends are getting this, my friends are getting that. But like the skill set that I built up over the last, you know, 15 years from starting when I was young is like, you know, that's the reason why I am today. And when I was in school at a young age, you know, I was already like the black sheep in school because I was working my sales job when I was young, like 15, 16, 17, 18, and I wasn't focused on school. So then, you know, everybody was counting me out. But in my head, like I don't know what it was, but at a young age, I already had the highest self-belief. I didn't have doubt. Like I already knew I was making more money than everybody around me at like a part-time gig working 4 or 5 days a week in sales. So when everybody's like, this guy wasn't going to become successful, I'm just like, well, success in their head means money. It doesn't mean spirituality and alignment at that. Success in my grandparents' head meant money. Success in our parents' heads mean money. That's it. You have a stable career, right? So at that time, when I was young in high school, I was so confident that I'm going to make a shit ton of money when I was older. But when I got sold by everybody saying, hey, you know what? You should go to business school, So I'm like, okay, well, maybe this is going to enhance me making a little bit more money. So then I got sold on the thought of going to college and going to university. So when I went into university in Canada, we call it university, right? Mm-hmm. You guys have universities here too, right?
Yes.
Yeah. So I got into university. I was there for about 6 months. And then I realized it was the first 6 months I never made money for like 5 years. I was always making money. I always had the money to go take out my girlfriend to the nicest steak restaurant when I was 16. When my friends were going to movies, I was going to the fucking steak restaurant after. And they couldn't even I always had cash on me. I was working sales, door-to-door sales. You know, I was stashing away a couple $1,000s a week sometimes. So it was the first 6 months that I never made money. And to me, that was unsuccessful. And it doesn't matter, like, you know, when I had a prof say, hey, if you guys want to make, you know, money right away coming out of university, you're in the wrong place, you're in the wrong program. When I heard that, I was like the nail in the coffin to be like, wait, I'm going to spend 4 years here, drop $45,000, come out of here in debt and still not make money and take another 4 years. So it's going to be an 8-year time fucking span. I don't even know what I'm like I like what I'm going to do. So I left sales and I left university, I left college. And I just went, I didn't know, first of all, I was passionate about sales because in my head, I was a worker, just like I am today. Like I wasn't like, oh, I'm this sales guy. I was aerating lawns. I was poking holes in people's grass because, you know, after bad winters in Canada, the grass has to breathe. So I just considered myself as a worker. I was really good at doing my job. Hey, we need I'll do $1 for the back, 39 for the front. I was good at hustling it. That's it. The one hustle. I was just freaking hustling every single day. And I didn't see myself as a salesperson. I just seen myself out hustling everybody inside, because that's what it was in the beginning, right? It's just like, how many lawns can I do? How many people can I operate with urgency? It wasn't a long relationship sale. So we'd start off in a warehouse with 200 people in the morning. They, diverse us in the morning, and boom, you start aerating lawns. You knock on doors, they give you a neighborhood. So when I left school, I didn't go back to what I was like when I left college and I dropped out of college in the first 6 months. I left and I went back to, I'm like, okay, what can I think I could be good at? So I followed curiosity, not passion. Because most people say, oh, follow your passion. Well, fuck, if I was passionate, I'd probably go into like DJing, soccer. You know, I'd probably go into something like that, which I love too as well. I didn't love sales. I'm like, shit, I'm curious about the sales thing. Let me get into sales. So I started studying all the industries again, right? And I studied real estate. I'm like, okay, let me do, and then the real estate thing. Okay, I'm like, it's too long. I'm not going to make money in this right now. I'm putting it together. I'm like, okay, I'm going to make money in my 3rd, 4th year. I know it. right? I'm going to have to drop some money on the courses. Then I'm going to have to do the marketing. And then it is. So I just got right into telephone sales, right? Quick cold calling, that translated into B2B sales. After that translated into me starting to train sales. The way I got to where I am today, just to recap the whole story, I was in B2B sales, and then I started to realize, the school system.
What B2B sales is?
Yeah, business to business sales. I started off in business to customer sales. Like you call somebody, you sell them a direct sales environment, knocking on a door, right? Sometimes real estate could be B2C or B2B, right? Like your business to customer, or it could be commercial business to business. So I was in business to business sales, right? A couple different jobs. One of my longest lasting ones was medical device sales. So instead of influencing like one decision maker or two decision makers, like a couple to pull the trigger on a product, it was like 17 people to pull the trigger on a product. So I was in a very complex sales environment at a very young age. It was a lot different. I started 21 at a very complex sale. Yeah. And there was nobody in the world I can say that was in my position at an age, because I got into my position because I started off in the office, and I'm like, wow, I'm in this job, this dream job in an office. If I could just get this position in the next 5 years and be on the road. Well, it so happened to be that I was in the right position at the right time. Somebody quit, and then they hired me onto the road, right? I don't even think they fucking knew my age, whatever. My resume was bullshit at the time, right? It just had a bunch of bullshit on it. It says I was graduated from university, I think. I just put the university that I went to. So maybe they thought I went to university, but I dropped out in 6 months. But yeah, I was doing that, and then I realized, wow, sales gave somebody like me, an opportunity, right? And as I'm working this job, I'm doing amazing. Like I'm making 6 figures. I'm on the road. I'm living the life. Okay, I'm buying all the nice custom suits. I have a corporate credit card that I could spend, and I'm going on the vacations, getting the awards, and then I'm like, holy fuck. Sales gave somebody like myself, like the dropout kid that everybody thought was going to become some big fuck up in life. It gave me the opportunity, and it didn't discriminate me based on my past and who I was. It didn't judge me based on who I was. The class clown didn't. I'm like, it accepts you with like open arms, right?
100%.
And I feel like, I'm like, if I know this, and we're never taught in school, hey, there's an account manager. What's B2B sales? What's B2C sales? What's direct sales? What's network marketing? What's real estate sales? What's insurance sales? We're never taught this. So when I was young, I'm like, holy shit, I have like a responsibility now to be like, let me go educate people on what my story was and how I got to where I got to. Okay, I started on telemarketing, and then I moved from telemarketing into, higher advanced phone sales. And then I went inside as an inside sales account manager. And then I went into an account manager. And then I got as an account executive on the road. And that's how I transitioned my sales career into sales education. I was starting to help colleges and high schools and universities in Canada, training them on sales. I just wanted to do it for fun while I was selling my equipment. I'm like, wait, let me go educate these people on sales and my story and how you can get into sales, because nobody was doing it. I never took a sales course in high school. Started doing that, fell in love with the training thing, made sure that the marketplace responded to who I was and my message, meaning like, because I was young doing this, when I say the marketplace was responding, I think no entrepreneur should ever jump until a few different things. One, either the marketplace has to buy something from you or respond to it in a positive manner. Like you have to have feedback. Like I would have never left my job if I didn't have sales in my other job. And I think that's the worst thing. Like most people make the jump way too quickly. They're like, well, Zuck's dropped that. Well, dude, Zuck's had fucking Facebook and like people, there was 100,000 customers on Facebook before he went to go make the pivot and the transition. So he knew at least there was a marketplace that wanted something or needed something. Then he went to go make the transition. And the other thing was this, like, I don't think entrepreneurs should move unless they have a cushion. So they tuck at least like 8 to 12 months of their expenses away. That way, when you're in the valleys of your business and it's hard to start up, you have the cushion so you don't spread yourself out thin. So you don't have to rush it. You don't have to be weird about your process and pushing people on your process. At least that way you have a cushion to survive through the rough months of entrepreneurship. So you look at your expenses. If it's $3,000 a month, tuck away $30,000 for 10 months just in case you have like a bad 10 months. So I looked at those two things. Number one, are people responding to me? Number two, do I have a cushion? So I had my cushion. My monthly expenses were high too, because I was living life as an account rep on the road, right? 2 cars, have a couple houses, like leases in different cities. So I made the transition, and that's where I started sales education. Then I started getting, really good at the training thing. As you repeated a lot, I was getting really good. I was dialing in my message. And then I started a sales agency. So I started training and outsourcing sales reps to other sales companies, because I was getting all these people through in my educational platforms, training them in sales in my sales academies, that I had all these people that, now wanted sales opportunities. So that's how I created a sales agency, where everybody online had these products. They would come to me for a salesperson. I would outsource them and take a piece of the commission. So that's how I started my sales agency after. So one side is my sales training, the other side is my sales agency. That's how I got to. Just a little background story for you guys.
I love it.
Yeah.
Because you answered my question, because there was 2 questions I had for you, which you answered. So you talked really fast. So I want to make sure that you guys caught that. Don't leave your job until you've got a cushion of at least 6 to 8 months, right?
Correct. Yeah.
And then the other thing, I forgot the other one.
The other one was, I was just making sure, I was just saying the indicators, just make sure people are responding and they're buying.
Well,
because
that
there's
was your
validation
university.
towards a product. That was that exactly.
That was your university.
That was my university, and that was the admiration too as well, because sometimes it's not just in physical, it is physical dollar amounts, but like when you leave a classroom and somebody comes up to you, dude, you changed my life. I never thought about that. That's bigger than any commission check. So now you're thinking, now you're like, wait, what's this whole thing about? So now I'm chasing, I want that, I said, for the rest of my life. I'm like, I want that. That's special. That's important. Because rarely do you get that. I never got that inside my life. You changed my life. I was waiting for somebody to change my life when I was young. So I'm like, oh shit, I changed this guy's life. Okay, let's go do this thing again. Same message kept coming. And then that's when I started to make this transition. Okay, let me package this thing up. Let me see if people would buy this, right? And that's when I started, Instagram. I was on Instagram live streams. One person would join, 2 people would join. And I was pouring on to like my Instagram live streams as if 5,000 people were joining my live streams. I was training them every single night for 4 hours. I would do 4-hour live streams 6 days a week with 5 people on my live stream. For 2 years straight. Then 6 people, then 7 people, then 8 people, then 9 people, and that's how I was building up my brand, getting in people inside of my community, Yeah.
That's amazing. I'm going to back up to when you said people, when you were younger, were talking about money.
Yeah.
And you were like, you don't understand spirituality. Can you speak on that?
No, it's because when somebody says you're not going to become successful, what it means to them in our parents' heads or our grandparents' heads, aunts and uncles, teachers, it's financial success. But as you gain financial success, somebody like myself that has financial success, you realize that's just not what success is. So you realize there's so many other things. You can gain financial success, but fucking hate your life. But they weren't talking about that. Mm-hmm. But a lot of people get put in the position because their parents say, you need this success, so go get a good career that's going to pay you $85,000. But how about if you fucking hate the career that pays you $150,000? Is it successful? So I knew at the time they weren't talking about, hey, go do something that you enjoy for the rest of your life. They were saying, hey, go do something that's going to pay you a lot of money. So then I'm like, oh shit, okay. Well, if that's the case, I'm already doing really well. I'm already financial success. I wasn't even thinking about fulfillment at that point. I wasn't even thinking about passion. I'm like, I'm doing fucking well. I'm making money. I made a logical decision. I wasn't even making an emotional decision. I said, I'm making $1,000 on the weekend. My parents aren't making this in a whole week. My teachers aren't making this in a whole week. Back then, right? So it was logical for me to say, okay, let me go chase back this sales thingy one more time, right? So, yeah.
Wow.
I'm blown away. Yeah, I think it's really cool hearing your sales journey and like the hustle. I mean, it was there. It's like the school of hard knocks. The only way to do it is by, the learn. You can't really read it in a book. You have to go experience it.
Right.
You have to go out there. You have to put yourself in front of, tough situations. And I think people don't do that enough. They don't put themselves into uncomfortable, tough situations like that and aren't ready, aren't willing to do that and aren't willing to sacrifice like their comfort.
Yeah. Even till today, it's like, I'm so good at what I do. It's because I'm inside of the playing field and people get outside of the playing field. So I'll tell you what I mean. There's so many fucking sales trainers, by the way. I'm a sales trainer this, I sales train this, I sales train that. Yeah, but they're not in the fucking game. I'm in the game, meaning like I have a sales team that I'm with every single day. I'm on calls with every single day. I role play with 20 to 30 different companies a week. I see what's happening inside of the marketplace. I'm training my sales guys. I'm training other sales teams in other organizations, every other industry, seeing how new people are selling, see what new customers. I'm listening to my sales guys' conversations in today's day and age. And I'm doing it with my team and I'm selling with my team. So to me, it's like I keep myself in the game of sales, because if I don't keep myself in the game of sales, then the whole thing about education, I'm this sales trainer, blah, blah, it's irrelevant, because you don't know today's day and age what's happening. Instagram didn't exist 8 years ago. So the sales trainer that's training something back in the 1980s didn't know how to send off a cold DM to somebody's reel that just blew up with 47,000 views, and how to DM that girl that just got her reel blown up with 47,000 views and say, hey, Linda, by the way, I noticed on your third last post, your reel blew up with 47,000 views. What the heck are you doing to monetize your social media? What is it that you do? I'm kind of curious. That wasn't in a book, 1987, right? So to me, it's like I constantly stay in the game. I test out the methods myself. I'll still sell my own shit 24/7. I'll still sell people on a fucking ticket to my event inside of the DM, see how they respond, deal with their objections inside of the DM, because if I don't do it, then I can't train it, right? So it's not even just like, it's not just like I genuinely not just enjoy, doing it. I enjoy learning it, so I could teach it 100 times better when I'm in, when I'm in the play. So yeah, I always stay up to date. I'm always in the game doing it.
You have to be in the game.
Yeah.
If not, you're out of touch with what reality is and where we're at in modern times. Because I mean, shit, sending a video face-to-face DM has so much power when you say the right things.
Yes,
exactly. And in sales is funny, like I'm aggressively curious. Like I stay curious, and I feel like that's what's led me to where I am now. I mean, like my story is very similar to yours. I was detailing cars. I was making a shit ton of money. I was making like $1,000-$2,000 a day detailing cars out here. I made six figures before I was 18.
Wow.
It was insane. I took a pay cut to get into real estate. I didn't know it.
Right.
My first year, I had to give up the detailing and that money to jump into real estate.
Dude, why didn't you start a detailing business?
I tried. I couldn't find anybody to duplicate myself.
Oh, okay.
I wasn't willing to hand that over with the relationships I've built, but I cultivated those relationships and turned them into real estate
transactions. Sure.
Because
nice.
I detailed all the real estate agents in Vegas. So what happens when I got into real estate?
Right. You had all
my
these
numbers saved in their phone as the detail guy. I would call them,
dude. Yeah. I just said this yesterday. That's freaking wicked, because I said yesterday, it's everybody thinks so like one dimensional, right? So they're like, okay, this transaction, this relationship, whatever the case is, or they're just thinking, let's just say, for example, like you're in real estate and then you walk in an elevator, you forget to say hi to somebody. It's like you loaded up like your pipeline for whatever that meant, like 6 months, a year, 5 years down the road. And I said yesterday, I'm like, you can't go grocery shopping when you're hungry. It's already too late. You need groceries inside of the cupboards. It's already too late. And most people try to rush towards the end of the month, and they haven't been talking to people in the fucking elevator that went up and down. They haven't complimented the cashier. So now towards the end of the month, when they need to close people, they have no people to talk to. They're trying to go grocery shopping when they get hungry. It's like you try to dig the well when you're thirsty. It's already way too fucking late. So to me, it's like, I always tell people, it's like, be conscious of people around you, because you're going to need those people in one way, shape, or form or another. And even if it's not for a transaction, it's just life in general. I just think so many people run their life on autopilot.
And miss opportunities.
Right? And they forget, especially the people that are in sales, is that you're in a people business. Don't forget about people, But anyways, I love it, bro.
No, I watched your McDonald's one about how they were making fun of you about
about the kiosk.
Yes.
That was so good. That was a great one.
So for those of you that don't know, he was in McDonald's. His friends were making fun of him because there was a kiosk available, and he chose to walk up to the human, which is totally me. Because I don't like real estate. I like people. It's just my vehicle to get around people.
Right.
So what's so crazy is I see the element, and so I guess this is my question for you: is do you allow everybody access to you?
No, of course not. Like, I mean, I'm open with everybody. I'm kind and nice to everybody. I love talking to everybody. I think access is like, people in my circle, people that I'm constantly giving my energy to. Of course not. No way. Like, especially anybody that's negative, it just doesn't happen inside of my life. Mm-hmm. That's one. That's like the first thing. Any complainers, any sort of negativity, anything, I don't even entertain it. I can't entertain it. I don't have the time to entertain it. And I have to pour my energy back into people. So I'm a fucking battery. So like some people, even if it goes in far as social media, I see the way people operate. Some individuals like responding back to haters on their fucking posts. I don't entertain it. It's block, delete, done. I don't give you my energy. There's 100 other people that I got to respond to and pour into a live stream. I'm not going to get stuck into that person's negativity. I don't allow it into my page. I don't let no negativity on side of my page. I don't want people to comment back to the post. It's block, delete, done. And if that individual is like, oh, fuck, I fucked up, I'm going to make them jump through ropes to get back to me and get back on one of my fucking live streams. I always say this.
Damn.
I'm like, you know, I make sure if somebody shits on me, you know, I'm going to block them, delete their ass. I'm going to work so fucking hard, build my empire so big that if they have to come up to me, they have to talk to like a long lost uncle or something like that. Like they're not getting, like I'm going to make them work. I don't allow no negativity inside of my life. No complaining, no negativity. And I stop it right away. Even for myself. I point fingers. I got a couple pointed back at me. It's the same way. The moment I catch myself complaining, I stop it the exact same way, right? Because it's like my energy field. I'm like, okay, if I allow complaining with myself, then I'm going to allow somebody else to complain. So I also monitor my self-complaint, right? So the moment I start complaining to Steve and it's been 2 seconds, oh, I stop myself. I'm a human. Right? But I'm like, I'm not, I'm going to stop it. Like, let me just go into solution based right now, not complaining based. Man, it was so hard. Dude, yesterday was a struggle. What the fuck can we do, you know, today not to make it like yesterday? It's two different people, right? One person's going to claim, the other person's going to go into solution right away. So I catch it myself too, because, you know, I get what I allow. So, yeah.
It's funny. We had an amazing day yesterday with clients and everything.
Oh,
and,
filled our cup. Just one of those days that fills your cup. And it's not the money, it's the experience, like the energy exchange. And it's so important. People need to, and that's why she was talking about negativity, because energy exchange and people taking from your energy, you have to be very weary of, or you have to be very cautious of auditing the people around you.
Right.
Always. Sorry for cutting you off.
It's okay. And at the end of the day, my dad's in the hospital. He's been in the hospital since Monday. I'm not looking for like sadness. I deal with it pretty well or anything like that. But like at the end of the day, he's like, they're going to stick a tube down my throat. And I like do not have good experiences with hospitals, but I was like the highs and the lows and the energy and like where you place it and like where you place that energy, you know? And I just like, I got on Instagram and I was like, listen, my dad's in the hospital. Like he's going to be okay. He's strong. He's a survivor. And you just have to be really careful about how you deal with your highs and your lows. Cause like they come and energy is like everything to me and like what you allow into your space. So what I want to know is like, what do you do as far as your rituals? Like what's your rituals to keep you like energized and going and like.
Yeah. I mean, my health is first. I take care of that before anything. Like, you know, I mean, this has been the first 2 weeks I never ran because I actually, like, I have a sprained ankle. It looks like a ball right now. You guys can't see it. But, so I just sprained my ankle 2 weeks ago, but I run every single morning. I walk or run every single morning. I take care of my health first because, like, I'm only as good as, like, my endurance. So if my endurance is low, if my energy is low, my health is low, like, whatever I'm eating, whatever the case is, right? I'm always monitoring that first. So the first thing I do when I wake up is I take care of my health. And since it's, to me, sometimes that's like the grind, because like sometimes business is fun for me and I don't like running. I don't like going to the gym or anything like this. I do that right in the morning to get rid of it because I know it's the most important thing. So I get that task that I don't want to leave out towards the end of the day. I do it right in the beginning of the day. I don't want to wait till 8, 9 o'clock, because if I wait till 8, 9 o'clock, I'm going to start making excuses towards the end of the day. I'm tired throughout the end of the day. Let me just get that shit done with early in the morning, right? Whether it makes you feel good or whether it drains you out for the day, it's the most important thing. Like taking care of your health, number one, is the most important thing. It's with anything, you know, your food, your diet. I would say this is number one for me. And then I think number two is, you know, part of my rituals is, you know, I'm not a huge guy where it's like I gotta write down 15 things, you know, I'm grateful for. But to me, it's like when I wake up, one of my biggest things in life is like, you know, I just write down that, you know, I'm grateful for one more day and one more shot at this thing, because to me, life within itself is like the highest form of gratitude. So I don't have to say like, you know, I'm grateful for my job. I'm grateful, of course. But I think the biggest thing is like my why is to like, my purpose in life is to like live, you know? And like sometimes when people are like, what's your purpose? We put something else on a pedestal. So meaning like if somebody says their purpose in life is to retire their parents, their purpose in life is, you know, to impact millions of lives. Well, then you indicated that your purpose is more important than life within itself, when life within itself should be your highest fucking purpose. Meaning like your purpose is to live. You can't indicate that your why is more important than life. So I always say my why is life, because if I'm not just happy for life and I need something else to get me fucking motivated, right? Then I'm fucked up. Like the why is first life. Then everything else is like the goals. My why is that I lived. I'm not going to indicate that like life is lower than, you know, making 100 million this year. Life is first. 100 million is second, right? So that's my first thing. It's like, I always go back to, okay, I'm thankful for one more day. I got one more day at this thing called life, right? Because some people don't get that next day, that thing called life. And then we forget about it.
Take it for
Daniel, what
granted.
keeps you fucking motivated? That I woke up this morning? That's it? What else? Like, if you're, so many people try to search all these external things. Like, I'm like, what? I need this, and then I need to retire my parents. I'm like, wait, but you just forgot to be like, I just woke up this morning? Because sometimes it doesn't click until something happens in life. Oh my God, life is so precious now. Like you don't know what you have until you lose it. You don't know what you have until you start experiencing something usually, right? So I try to tap into it before that happens. I'm like, wait, nothing bad has to happen to me in order to be grateful for life, right? It's like, you're not like, oh, I'm so grateful that, my tummy, you only want a good stomach when your stomach starts hurting. But nobody just said, hey man, I'm just grateful to have, an amazing body. Just grateful to be healthy. Until it's gone, and then you're, oh my God, I wish I was just normal. I wish my health and my life was just perfect right now, right? So I always just give a blessing towards that first.
I love that.
That's
I love
powerful.
that.
If people could only just grasp that one thing.
Yeah, because that's my
That's
source
powerful.
of energy. That's my source of energy. Everything in my life could be fucked up, and then when I'm just like, oh, I woke up this morning, right? So, yeah.
Do you meditate?
Actively, meaning most people think meditation is you have to go into a kumbaya state in the corner and put your hands up and then start levitating. But to me, it's meditation is be focused on one present thing in your thoughts, right? So to me, it's like you can actively, I'm meditating right now.
Oh yeah.
And then a lot of people would say, well, what does this guy mean by this guy's meditating in this podcast? Well, to me, in this podcast, I'm not fucking thinking about what's going to happen next. Sure. I'm not thinking about what happened an hour ago on my last conversation. I'm in the podcast. I'm focused. My halo of focus is on this podcast. I'm meditating. This is practice. So sometimes people got to practice if they're fucking brushing their teeth. Maybe instead of thinking you got to kumbaya and levitate, focus on the bristles hitting your freaking teeth. Maybe that's meditation because you're learning how to focus on the task in hand. So I'm so 1, 2, okay, now I'm doing this. I'm inside of it, right? I'm speaking on stage. I'm just speaking on stage. There's nothing else. It's us. It's them. That's it. I don't know what happened an hour ago. I don't know what's going to happen, an hour ahead. I'm focused on, that's my meditation. When I'm running, I'm focused on running. I'm focused on the breath. I'm focused on running. A thought comes in, I bounce it out. I'm focused on here.
It's powerful.
Right? And that's how I'm able to consciously be aware what's coming inside of my life on small activities. And that's how I'm able to have a high source of energy because, when people energy comes from having the ability to be present in any moment. So that's where high energy stems from. Meaning when people aren't present, that's when they have low energy. So the best dinners that you had, the best lunches that you had with your friends, it's because nobody was on their fucking phones. Everybody had their phones tucked away, right? Nobody was thinking about what just happened in the relationship, and everybody's freaking vibing out and just talking with one another, and they're in the present moment. They're not thinking about what's going to happen in the next hour. They didn't think about what's happening. They're not looking on their phones. They're in the present moment. They're focused, and that's why they have the highest source of freaking energy. So to me, it's like if I have a low source of energy, number one, I'm not focused on the present moment. Number two, I'm probably unaligned in other areas of my life. But I always go back to being like, how am I, I'm not inside of this right now.
How do you realign?
Inside of my life?
Yeah.
How do I realign?
Like when you feel that you're...
Oh, yeah. I just go back to, to me, alignment is, knowing who Daniel wants to be like, let's say 10, 15 years down the road. And is Daniel acting like the person? That's it. That's alignment for me. Meaning if I feel unaligned, right? If I don't feel like I have high energy sources, it means I say, I want X, Y, Z inside my life. I say I want a family, but maybe you're clubbing Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. So you say you want one thing, but you're doing something else every single day. So you know who you want to be like, but you're not that person every single day. That's where you have an alignment. That's where your energy is a little bit low. If you say you want to be a millionaire, but you're working 45 hours a week, well, you want one thing, but you're doing something else every single day. You're not going to feel good about yourself. Your self-esteem, how good you feel about yourself, that's your fucking energy core. So if somebody's energy core is low, it's because they don't feel good about themselves. They don't feel good about themselves because they say they want one thing in the next 10 years, but they're not that person every single day. So they know they're living in a fucking lie. And if they know that, then their energy core is freaking low. They don't feel good about themselves because they're like, fuck, I know I want to be like that person, but I'm not showing up like that person every single day.
And that should be the trigger, and it's self-awareness.
Exactly. So when I'm like, you want to get back your energy levels, some people don't even know who they want to be like. So that's step number one.
Ooh.
Who do you want to be like? Then number two is like, because majority of people don't have that down pat.
Oh, you
No.
ask them.
If you ask somebody where their head is,
deer
they'll
in the
be like,
headlights.
They don't
yeah,
even
they'll be
know.
like,
they get an
wow.
answer that's catered to you.
Yes,
It's
yeah.
not like a real like.
I would love to try this. I would love to try. What the fuck do you mean? Where's your life headed in the next 10 years? People don't know. So that's like one thing. It's clarity. One, they got to get clear. And then after they get clear, then they got to keep themselves in check and say, am I showing up like that person? That's where a lot, because when you say you want one thing and you show up as that person and you just did your best that day to show up, that's where you feel, that's when you're like, I feel good about myself, man.
100%.
You know, it's not even
Yeah.
just about the results. It's like, shit, I just feel good. Like I'm showing up as the person that I want. And I would really compare myself. I would look at myself. I'm like, you're not that person you want to be like in 20 years.
Oh yeah, I do.
Look
that.
at the people that you want to, you're trying to emulate and be like, what are they doing right now? You're not like that person right now. Right. So yeah.
It's like the servo mechanism in our brain telling us, hey, go over here. Listen to that and like trusting yourself. They're like,
Right.
hey, I feel out of alignment. I know I'm not doing the right thing. I know I should be doing that. And you have to make a conscious decision to change it.
Right.
Or you're just going to stay the same forever.
Right.
And you're going to have to change the people around you. That's one of the things I mentioned because people will keep their same friends in the same circle and listen to the same shit and they'll be the same and they're never going to change. And even if they have these desires because the people around them will bring them down
Right.
unintentionally or intentionally.
Yes. Yes. I agree.
Wow.
Fucking mind blown,
I
right?
am mind blown. I knew it was going to be good, but I didn't realize how good. Like every time I think I'm going to ask you a question, like you answer.
You just like,
your sales ability is like, I feel it.
I love, this is my shit though. Like,
I love your
like,
energy.
I
Like
know.
if
Your
Q&A, if
energy's-
somebody says like, no, I mean like this, like settings, like where it's like, you know, Q&A, question and answer. This is my thing. That's why I enjoy when you guys said, you know, you guys want to keep it candid. You guys want to have a conversation.
Yeah.
Even yesterday I was speaking and I said, guys, like, let's rock with Q&A. Let's rock with role play. Because if anything, you know, we learn with interaction with each other. You know, I could teach it all day, but it's better to rock it out with you guys and answer. So I love the conversation back and forth. And I think, you know, I've this is almost like I've been doing like, you know, the Q&A thing and the conversational thing with my audience for a while. So I'm like this, like I love Q&A because I've been doing it with my live streams every single night for 4 or 5 years. Like, you know, I beam in my audience and my audience asks me questions every single night, like 10 people, 8 people, Monday to Friday. Hey, where are you from? Where are you calling from? What's your question? Right. And then I would just go back and forth and have the conversation. So
That's so
I
cool.
love this. I appreciate you guys having me.
absolutely, man.
Yeah.
This is great. Have any experience with the law of attraction?
Yeah.
And can you talk on that?
Yeah, I mean, like shit. I've been doing it since I was young, you know, like when even now, like this past weekend, you know, you don't know what you want until your brain's exposed to it, right? So like thinking about something is great. You know, you could think about something and you can manifest it inside of your life. But even to me, like, you know, this weekend I moved down to Florida from Toronto, Canada. So I'm from Toronto, Canada, and I'm just like, okay, I want some better weather. I moved down to Florida. And, you know, when I moved into Florida, now you're like, oh my God, it's beautiful palm trees, you know. And then, okay, where are the big homes? So then I take my jet ski out and now I'm on the water on the weekends going through homes that are $25 to $35 million, Sunset Island, Star Island, these beautiful places, you know, on the water. And I never knew in my life that, you know, these even like these neighborhoods on water existed. Like people, these kids, they're on their floaties, you know, these celebrities are talking to each other, you know, water to water, you know, they're on their boats relaxing, they're on their wakeboards, they're on their paddle boards. And I'm like, shit, I would have never wanted it this. I would never knew this it was even possible until I put myself in the position, like, okay, now that's what I wanted. And now I'm there waving to the neighbors saying, what's up, da, da, da. It's a little bit more real for me, right? So I'm putting myself in that environment. So everything that I've ever wanted inside of my life, I always went the level deeper. Every single car that I fucking wanted, I went inside of the dealership, drove the car, knew I was going to get it. Every single neighborhood that I wanted to live in, waved hi to the neighbors, knew I was going to fucking live in there. So I still do it till today. You know, I'm driving my jet ski, I'm saying hi to the neighbors. Neighbors think I fucking live in the area because you're not supposed to be in the jet skis in that area. So they're saying hi back to me and stuff, right? Because I snuck in. So I'm just getting used to it, right? I'm programming myself to get used to it. Obviously, you know, I'm attracting it inside of my life. But, you know, to me, it's like I've always mixed my attraction with, you know, like my activity inside of my life. So it's not like, oh, I'm just going to wake up and this thing's going to come inside of my life. You know, I'm a hard fucking worker. I work hard. I've never met anybody in the world that's ever outworked me inside of my life. Like I wake up at 7 a.m. I do 50 things throughout the day. And then by like 3 a.m., I'm down and out. If this guy can't edit a video, I'll fucking edit the video at 3 a.m. You know, I'm a worker 7 days a week, right? I've been doing it since I was 15. I never took a day off inside of my business in my life for the last 13 years probably. I never took one day off inside of my business. And to me, it's because I just enjoy my game. Like I enjoy doing this. So some people, it might be fucking war for them and they might get exhausted and they might get depleted because they're at war with themselves. So if they're at war with themselves, that's why people say, well, dude, you need to sleep longer. No. Well, to me, you know, there's a difference between like rest, sleep, and restfulness. I'm at restfulness throughout the day, so my body doesn't require 9 hours of sleep because I'm not in fight with my internal head. And when you're in fights with your internal head, you require a lot more sleep. When you're stressed out, you're gonna need to sleep 8 hours a day if you don't fucking love what you do. But if I love what I do and I'm enjoying it 24/7, and obviously there's struggles, but I'm not at war with my own mind, I don't need to sleep 9 hours a day. I'm restful throughout the day. I'm fucking enjoying the game throughout the day. Maybe I only need 5 hours a day. Maybe you need 9 hours because maybe you don't like what you do, but I fucking love what I'm doing right now. You know, so I'm at restfulness. That's what your body requires relaxful and restfulness. This is why people meditate. They're in their thoughts. Anytime you're sad, you're crying. When we were young, we had to sleep a lot longer. We had to sleep on shit. That's why people said sleep on shit. You had to sleep longer, 9 hours, you know? But if you're more at peace, and I know how to be control of my emotions and filter in all the things that are coming inside of me, and like nothing in life is going to work perfect, but if I can learn how to filter everything that's coming inside of my life and be at peace with that and not be at war with myself, then I can require me lasting 7 days a week and doing it 7 days a week, right? 100%. And still find time for everything else. Like in the process of me working, I'll still go to my, you know, my grandparents' house on a Sunday when I'm, you know, every single Sunday religiously go to my grandparents' house, spend 4 hours with them, spend a few hours with my friends, then get back to work, you know? It's like I still figure out a way to do all the other things inside of my life, right?
100%. That's very important.
Yeah.
Wow. That's so cool. Yeah. I mean, I think there's a saying like, would you rather be a warrior in a garden or a gardener in a war? And I think it's powerful what you said. Like
a warrior in the garden.
Would you rather be a warrior in a garden or a gardener in a war? You'd rather be a warrior in a fucking garden.
Sure.
You'd rather have your shit down, not a war with yourself.
Gotcha. Yeah.
Because that's the ultimate demise. I think it's beautiful how you place that and said that. That's great. I watched The Secret when I was 8 years old.
Right. Wow.
Fucking changed my life. It started with 8 years old. She did that. Because she watched it and her fucking sales went through the roof. She was a young mom. We grew up together. So
I watched 11 houses in a down market the week after watching The Secret.
Wow.
So, I mean, at a young age, I was like, of course, I want like dirt bikes and trucks and stuff. Everything I ever put on any one of my dream boards I've always gotten. So I started at a young age and I was self-aware. It created the self-awareness. Like, oh shit, I have the power to do that. Okay, it was like a game when I was younger. But then I got older and I read Think and Grow Rich and I studied it. And that was like my Bible. And then I was like, oh shit, like this stuff's powerful. And it's not just like the think, it's like the internal like self-awareness where you know you're guided and you have your guidance that's like, I'm out of alignment where I'm at. I need to go over here. And you trust, go over here. And then you see that works, and you're like, okay, what's the next thing? And it's like that internal conversation, internal guidance to get you to where you want to go. And that's how I've built everything I have is by that principle and learning.
I thought I started young, dude.
Bro, I mean, at
8 years
How
old.
old do you think
I used to
25.
Yeah, just turned 25. Yeah.
Uh-huh.
I mean, I used to walk up to people at Discount Tire and ask to detail their Bentleys. I mean, like I had no fear at a young age. I did the same thing you did. I mean, I was just in a different facet. I'd go into real estate office, who needs their car done? And I would do that. I mean, I wake up at 4 a.m. I would do 30 cars in a day. I would wake up at 4 a.m. and do a fleet at the Palms Hotel. After I was done with the fleet, then I'd do the executives. They'd have me do Lambos, 300 a Lambo. Then I'd go do the Rolls Royces down at the Venetian. I was doing the gondola boats. I mean, it was
because you guys have all these wicked cars down here.
fucking crazy. It's
A lot of money in the right places, obviously, at the hotels.
But I mean, I was like 17, 18. They're like, oh, you need a $5 million insurance policy. I was like, okay, how do I get a $5 million insurance policy? They're like, you need a business license. Like, where do I get a business license? Like, had no idea what I was doing. And, you know, on the business side of things.
When he was under 18 and checks started showing up in the mail, I was like, what the heck is going on?
Wow. Yeah.
But that's because I just went out and did it. You know, I wanted it. Didn't want to go to school. I was like, you got to get a job. I was like, fuck, well, I'm going to go wash cars. So I washed cars for somebody else. Then I had somebody driving me around while I washed cars because I was old enough to drive. And then when I was old enough to drive, I did it on my own, tried to get help, couldn't get help, and just did it all myself and just hustled my ass off for 4 years.
Dude. Wow, crazy.
And, you know, I learned through that the power of my mind, because when I was detailing cars, I was listening to Jim Rohn, Tony Robbins, Les Brown, Zig Ziglar, like just feeding my mind.
Yeah.
I didn't have hangout friends. I just worked. I didn't know any different.
Yeah.
And I just was feeding my mind. And it's crazy that, you know, that is a testament to where I am today, is just by feeding my mind good things. And, you know, knowing that I have control of my own situation, my own reality, and I can create my future with my thoughts.
Right.
The internal conversation I have with myself all day, and trusting myself and weeding out the bad shit that I know that I shouldn't be doing. Getting rid of the people I need to get out of my life, getting out of my getting uncomfortable, walking up to a person that you have no business walking up to and asking them for their business.
Right.
And then getting it done, and like the reward of that, and then building those relationships, and like the relationships I built from detailing, I still have today. My biggest mentor came from me washing his car.
Wow.
And I just went to lunch with him the other day. He's like, you're like my little brother. It's so cool seeing like you took all my advice and you just ran with it. And
Wow.
I mean, I saw checks. I mean, he's a motivational speaker, 250 grand in a week. I'm like, dude, like this dude knows something I don't. And you know, I was like, what advice do you have to give me? And then I asked, and he gave it to me. He told me to listen to those people. I listened to them every day. And so for 3-4 years, I was getting education from the legends.
Now, what's the play for you guys? Just to grow the business? Grow the real estate business?
Well, this is a passion project because she loves energy exchange. She loves this fills her cup.
Yeah, I could tell.
You know, I love learning from other people, and I think there's so many things that people can learn from other entrepreneurs. So this is special to me. And then the real estate.
And this builds your brands too.
Yeah, I mean, this is.
We couldn't get content out quick
fast enough.
So Eddie, the guy that introduced us, was like,
he called me on my bullshit.
Yeah,
I was like, I want to do a podcast. He said, okay. Is that
he sent him all the stuff, and we bought it.
What do you mean?
Like he sent us like what to buy.
Okay.
Like I said something to him, and he called me on my bluff. He's like, all right, let's do it. And I was like, okay.
Was that the guy that hooked us up?
Yeah.
And so this all built because like we played.
How long ago?
Less than 6 months ago. This is new. I mean, we still released our first 10.
Like November or December we started this.
Oh wow, right on.
Yeah,
nice,
this is like brand new. So left corporate America, worked for a real estate company with him. We hated that because people were coming down the hallway like,
how do I do Facebook? Can you help me with my email? I'm like, this isn't the place for me. I need to get a better environment.
Sure.
Went to some guys flipping homes, did 65 flips with them, learned the inner workings of flipping. And I was like, if these guys can run a company, I was like, so can we. I was like, we want to change our environment.
So you guys do wholesale?
I learned how to do that.
Okay.
We do a traditional real estate here. So she specializes in new construction homes.
Gotcha.
I do the residential side of things. We have a commercial division here. So we're all facets of real estate here. And
just a boutique. And then I got licensed to do loans last December. So I do loans now.
Okay, right on. Nice.
So we're a full operation.
Nice. You guys have a sales team?
Yeah.
Small, but that's why like I look to you because like
that's a whole new fucking example. Thing. Okay. We're learning because being good at sales is one thing, but being good as a leader is a whole fucking other thing.
Oh, it's such a good topic. Yeah. I was saying this yesterday. I was saying like, you know, everybody like us, people that were hustling since day one, we're all good at sales. Like, you know, like, and then when somebody asks you, man, you're kind of like, oh fuck, I never reverse engineered this. Like I know how to do it myself, but in order to teach, it's a whole nother thing. Right? It's like, why? And then most sales managers aren't the best sales managers because they're just like, why couldn't you get the deal done? Right? So, you know, it's a whole nother way to, you know, understand people, you know, and have that emotional intelligence. Number one, to understand yourself, then to understand other people, and then how to couple that together. That's like the highest level. It's like, you know, first understand yourself, which, you know, that's the first thing, understand how you win. So I always reverse engineer how I win. And then, you know, learn how to talk to people, you know, how to get them to influence them, to get them to do, you know, what they need to do to perform at their highest self. Like, you know, there's a big difference in management and leadership. You know, a manager, like a sales manager, is always just going to point the finger. A regular fucking manager is going to say, hey, you got to do this, this, and this because you need to get your numbers in and we need to do this, this, and this, right? Well, that's not a good form of leadership, and that's not going to influence people to be at their most productive self. Now, a leader, on the other hand, is not going to be like, hey, you know, go wash these floors because, you know, we need to get this done right now and it's 8 o'clock and, you know, Linda, you got to go wash these floors. Management style. Leadership style is say, hey, Linda, come here. How you feeling? Good? How's everything? Amazing? Nice. Relationships good? Okay, cool. Hey, by the way, we have this amazing group of people coming in today. And I want to know if you can handle when they come in. Like, I want this place when they walk in, the first impression, like the floors to be pristine so the air smells great. Do you think you can handle this responsibility that you're just in charge of making sure the first impression when these people walk in is just a fucking world-class experience? Do you have that? Yeah, I can do that. Now she feels like there's like a sense of empowerment there. There's two types. That's leadership versus management. So that takes a while to understand, because that you have to understand humans and how they operate and how I'm going to make this person perform at their highest self. Instead of saying you need to hit your numbers, hey, how's everything going, number one? What's happening in your life? Before the fucking numbers, if one of my reps is not producing, I can guarantee you it's another aspect of their life that's fucked up, or they're thinking about something else. It's not my training. So I'm going to go first back to that. Now I'm going to go, okay, now how does this person tick? How do I talk to this person? My training's fucking great, but if it's not clicking with this guy, how does the guy learn, right? How do I get into a conversation with the guy? How do I make the guy listen to me? How do I make the guy feel good about himself, that he can actually do the job, right? Training might be great, but if he doesn't feel he can do it, if he doesn't have the right belief system, then he's never going to do it. Maybe he doesn't believe that, like maybe my training's great. He believes that it works for Daniel, but he doesn't believe that it's going to work for himself. And I always say you can't, outperform the person that you think you are inside of your own head. So maybe one of my reps don't feel like they're a multi-millionaire producer. So whatever I say is completely irrelevant, because anytime he starts getting close and he starts having a $7,000 check because he doesn't see himself making 6 figures a month, it's going to kick him back down and say, hey, by the way, Johnny, remember who you were 4 months ago? Remember you were the dropout kid. Watch out. You're getting close to 10,000. You're not that person. Boom, it kicks him back down. So his belief system, sometimes I feel like business and sales move so much faster than the belief that you have in yourself.
Oh, yeah.
You know what I mean? So like life moves faster than personal development sometimes. That's just the way business is. You get in and it's like boom, 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 boom. And then your mindset hasn't caught up. Your belief system hasn't caught up, right? So it's like sometimes you got to work on that before even like the strategy and stuff. So yeah, managing salespeople. And that's like, I think the most fulfilling part of like your guys' business after. It's like you see like 10, 20 other people producing 6, 7 figures, right? That's like
the growth. It's so cool.
Yeah.
When it clicks.
Yeah.
And they're doing good.
Yeah.
And it's like the best feeling.
Fucking
We had one of our
Energizer
agents
Bunny just fills your
the
cup.
other day get her first real estate transaction. And I was like, oh, it's like a proud mom moment for me.
Right.
Like, oh my gosh, it clicked. They got it. They've got the training wheels off. They're going like.
You finally let the kid go, and you're like, oh shit, they might fall, but just they're doing it. It's good.
And has training? You guys do all your training?
Yeah,
Nice.
we do it all.
Nice.
So that's what makes it so special, and that's why we want to keep it small, because we really go deep with people.
Right.
We don't.
You can get on
We're not
calls
like,
with
here's a
them.
class. Here, no, like, let me go to your listing appointment with you. Let me show you how I pitch them, and then you can do it yourself.
Right.
They come to my listing appointment with me, then I do the same for them. I go with them, and then I audit, and we go into the car after we're done. Like, what could he have done better?
Right.
Let's audit that and see how we can make this better next time.
Right.
Or it went really well. And this is what we
I
record
listen to-
sales
we both
calls.
listen because we're two different salespeople.
Oh yeah.
Like he's very different from me, so we both audit the call and like
Nice.
give feedback, like constructive criticism of like like how we could role play, how we could have that conversation, record your phone calls, listen to yourself. Like sometimes it's painful, but the more
Right,
you do
of
it, the better
course,
you
of
get.
course, right.
So.
Right.
So one of the things that I think about is like with social media the way it is, how do you overcome like the social awkwardness, not only of like the younger generation, but like anybody in general who's gotten very glued to like the comfort of being able to pick up the phone to doing it instead of the face-to-face interaction.
How do you overcome what on
Like when you see that in a human that's resorted to like they'll
Phones,
get
yeah.
the they'll pull out the text message, they'll pull out the email, but getting them to get it on the phone, like or
getting person on a phone?
like on a phone or like
on a sales call?
yeah.
Oh, okay. Like okay, so to me it's like, salespeople have to understand their job. And when they don't, like for example, your guys' show is the one hustle. And what it meant when you guys said that in the beginning, it's like one thing and focus on that one thing. And then you can focus on the next thing. But you got to dial in the first thing first, right?
100%.
And I think salespeople, they create this whole, they feel like, okay, so like prospecting is one thing. So what does that mean? It's like sending a DM and sending an email is one thing. The second thing, after you're done that one thing, the second thing is to get them onto a conversation. The problem is that most people, right, they try to do everything inside of the DM, but you're not going to sell over there. Now you got to translate it into the phone call, right? So I always tell my reps, it's just step number one is engagement. Like, you know what I mean? Your whole job, first job, number one in sales, is just to pique curiosity, to get them interested enough to get them on a conversation. If I will show everybody that, hey, it's almost going to be virtually impossible to just do text by text by text by text. They're going to have this interaction. They're going to have this. They're going to leave you on ghost, blah, blah, blah. It's just, so your first job, I always tell the beginning reps, hey, your only job in the beginning stage is to invite people, get them on the conversation, then on the conversation. Don't but what do I do on the conversation? That's the second thing. For the first 4 weeks, all I need you to is figure out a way to get creative enough to pique people's interest to get them onto a conversation. That's it. It's the first thing. That's why I tell my reps, I'm like, don't create sales anxiety before it even happened. I won't even train you on presenting until you first understand prospecting first. You can't, well, I suck at closing. No, you don't. You don't suck at closing. How many people have you presented to? I presented to 3 people. Why have you presented to 3 people? Well, how many people have you talked to? Oh, I talked to 18 people that week. You don't suck at closing. You didn't fucking talk to enough people this week. You talked to 18 people. Marissa's out there talking to 180 people. She gets 19 presentations. She closes 2 deals. So maybe you don't even suck at closing. Maybe you're not even talking to enough people. And if you want to get a layer deeper, maybe you're talking to enough people, but the opening message already sucks right away because you're already talking about your product. So you run into the conversation saying, hey, you know, I seen XYZ. I think you would be amazing for us. And you're selling in the first conversation. So maybe just the opening message is where you lose people. So maybe you don't suck at closing. Maybe you just don't even know how to engage somebody and pique their interest and say, hey, by the way, I seen your last reel. It got 85,000 plays. What the heck is it that you do? I love your energy. You can't even get somebody to reply to you. You don't suck at closing. You suck at getting somebody to reply to you in the first 5 seconds. So some people are trying to fix something up and they're like, oh, I need this freaking magic pill. No, you don't need that fucking magic pill. Maybe you just got to go for a walk every single day. There's no strategy behind it, right? There's no fucking magic pill. You're just not doing the opening thing. Like, you got to look at the core root. When you take care of the core root, like I always look at my salespeople's core root. What's the first thing that they're doing? Number 1, it's numbers. Then number 2, it's engagement. You know, then number 2, it's like engagement, because it's rapport, which is number 2, which never stops, because rapport is not finding a point of commonality. Rapport is a process of engagement. That's what rapport is. How well is somebody engaged with you? You can be in rapport with me, and I'm not even in rapport with you, but you're in rapport with me because you already watched my video, so you already felt like you knew me before I walked in the studio because you already engaged with me. So you already had a sense of engagement with me. That's what rapport is. So I'm like, they're not even engaged with you, right? It's not about, oh, he likes soccer and I like soccer. No. It's, can the person engage with me? It's back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. So if you go look at a rep's conversation, you could see somebody that they're going to get ghosted towards the end of a conversation because they've been out of sync at the beginning stage of the conversation because they sent off 7 messages and it was blue, 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 and nobody even replied back to them, right? There was no message back. So I can go see, oh, well, I'm getting ghosted a lot. Well, why are you getting ghosted a lot? Well, because you talked for 18 minutes inside of your presentation. So now you're out of rapport with them and no shit, you're going to get ghosted. So it's not what you do when you get ghosted. It's not what you do to get, Daniel, what do I do? I got ghosted. What do I say to this client? You already fucked up. What are we going to do on the next presentation? Okay. What am I going to do? Dude, the girl didn't text me back and we just went on I thought we went on an amazing base. She didn't text me back. What do I say just to get her back? Dude, she ghosted you. It's not what you say now on the ghost. It's what you don't say on the next date.
On the next one.
You
think about what happened.
Training you.
Yeah, it's like you just think, go back to the next date. Oh, you talked for 19 minutes on the last date? Maybe that's why you fucking got ghosted. You didn't give a shit about her, so she doesn't give a shit about you. So boom, she's on Tinder swiping the next guy, or she's on Facebook going to the next guy, or whatever the case is. It's always you go to the core root. You don't go to the ending. So I hate when people say, yo, what's the best closing line? I'm like, fuck that. You just need to know how to say hi to somebody.
Right.
I watch you today and you walked by 18 people without saying hi to them. You want me to teach you how to close? You can't even say hi to somebody. So if somebody says, how do you break that person that's a robot on their DM or their phone? I would say step number 1, literally step number 1. You're talking about, you know, the subconscious mind and programming and reprogramming. Step number 1 is go up to people for the first 30 days and just say hi to people for 30 days. If it is, you're so used to being online, go say hi to people for 30 days. Nobody does it anymore. We used to do it 15 years ago, right? When you used to walk into school, you used to say hi to people. But now nobody,
I make people uncomfortable.
But now nobody
fucking
says hi to nobody.
It's crazy.
The people we talk at our coffee shop.
Yeah.
They walk in.
Before it used to be normal, by the way.
Oh.
Before, engagement used to be normal.
Oh, I know.
Before, 15 years ago, When you used to bring him to school, hi used to be normal. Now hi isn't even fucking normal. If you say hi, they're gonna be like, "Oh my god, this person wants to steal
They
my
look
kids."
at their phone, or you see
Yeah,
people that
yeah.
walk up to you and like act like they're looking on their phone.
Yeah,
and
yeah,
then
yeah,
keep
of
walking.
course. So my
'Cause
biggest
it's
thing
that
is
uncomfortable.
yeah. So if somebody, I wouldn't even say go become a closer. It's like go learn how to say hi to somebody for 30 days straight. Just hi. Don't even learn how to compliment somebody. Don't even say, "Hey, I love your pink shirt." That's too much. You might get nervous. You don't want to say that because you've been so programmed inside the DM. You should just say, "Hi."
love this.
You should just say,
is
"Hey,
great.
hi." 30 days straight. Now you're gonna be like, "Oh my god, I broke that fear that I always had to going up to somebody and just say hi," because we're not programmed to say hi anymore. Then after that, I would say for the next 30 days, then go up to somebody, look at them top to bottom in the first 5.5 seconds, then say, "Hey, love your nails, love that they're matching the pink shirt. I love it. You're color coordinated, amazing." Now you see the humans replied that are nice. Now you can see there's some sort of engagement back. Then I would say the next 30 days, go up to somebody, say hi, plus a compliment, then strike a conversation, be like, "Hey, where did you get the pink shirt?" Now you're inside of a conversation. But I just can't go teach somebody how to close. I gotta get them to say hi. Then I gotta teach them how to observe somebody and give a compliment. Then I gotta teach them how to get into a conversation. Then I gotta teach them, boom, how to translate and how to pivot it into business. But always go back to the core problem. Some people can't even say hi to some people. So that's like the first fucking thing. I always test my sales reps. I'm like, "Dude, where did you leave your highs on the table this month?" Right?
Damn. Where did
love
you
that.
leave your highs on the table this
Yeah.
month? I'm using that.
You're leaving money on the table if you leave highs on the table.
Oh, I'm using everything.
It's crazy. People don't understand the value in just being a human and engaging with other people. You never
Right.
know how you're gonna cross paths with somebody.
I meet the coolest people by engaging.
Yeah, same, yeah.
The guy sitting in front of the coffee shop, the people inside it, the
Yeah.
elevator, just every opportunity you
Crazy.
get, or every experience you have and anything you do, you have an opportunity inside.
Steve, who the fuck did we meet by my door open? So I have another office in Florida, and I always just say, it's like, don't forget to hold the door open for people, our conversation, say hi to people. And it's just like, like hold the door open for one guy, and then that one guy, he's speaking on my stage the next week. Just because I held the door open for him, and then this guy is the fucking biggest NFT creator in the world. Like, we're talking about, he creates every NFT for every celebrity. He works upstairs in my office in Miami, Florida. We have a shared office space right now, right? So I'm downstairs, he's upstairs, and he's from Toronto. I'm from Toronto. Conversations start to happen. Then this guy's this big guy, blah, blah. The next week, he's on my stage. We're doing business just from one door open. Because he was locked out. I'm like, dude, we get locked out every single night as well. Because we get locked out when we try to leave. So like somebody has to. So I heard somebody knocking. I opened the door. I'm like, what the fuck do you guys do till 3 a.m.? Because I'm the only guy in this office till 3 a.m. Oh, we do this. Boom, we're in a conversation just from a door open, right? And just from like a simple hi breeds everything. That shit turns me on. I love that shit.
Oh yeah.
There's a WeWork in downtown Summerlin, and we were going to an event, my friend Kate and I, and the elevator wouldn't go up. So we got out to tell the security guard, and I was like, "Everything's happening for us. Here comes Shaquille O'Neal." And it was so funny because I held the elevator, let him get on the elevator, and I didn't do like any fangirling or anything like that. Just like human, like,
Who?
"Hi,
Shaquille?
Yeah, Shaquille.
Oh, O'Neal.
Yeah. And it was so funny because he's like, "All you have to do is," what did he say to me? And Daniel's like, "Oh my God, Mom, you didn't say hi or get a picture."
No, I was like, you didn't say shit to him. I was like, you just let him walk in the elevator, held the elevator, and didn't use that opportunity. I was like,
Right.
but you first have to know how to say hi to somebody.
Right,
And that was
right,
uncomfortable, at a time, out for her.
Oh, he's like, "All you have to do is believe," and then the elevator went up. I was like, "Oh."
He said that?
Yeah.
Shaquille? He said all you have to do is believe?
Yeah.
And then it went up?
Yep. And then it went up. I was like, "That's crazy." Yeah. So, but like, he's like, "Why didn't you say anything?" I was like, "I don't know. It's just like he's in his element, and like, I wasn't looking to gain anything, but it was like a cool experience.
right.
We rode the
Yeah.
elevator with him. His energy.
Uh-huh.
I'm really
Yeah.
big on energy, so.
Of course, yeah.
How's
I
it-
meet a lot of people too, like in Florida, like we're always in the elevator, and the heat, all the players stay inside of my building because I'm right across from the arena. So I meet, everybody in the arena, dude. I'm like, what the fuck you doing going out to party? I told one of the guys last week. He said, "What do you mean?" I'm like, "Dude, what the fuck you doing? You got a game to play next week, right?" He's like, "Oh, I'm injured right now." So I'm fucking around with him, we have a good time. But yeah, I'm always, opening up because you don't know where conversations ever lead you to. And another thing is like, I'm such a big person on whether it leads to business or not. I just think our job as a human being is just to realize that, everybody in life goes around with a sign on their head saying like, "Please understand and please help me." And, when you start to realize that, it's like, not everything has to end up into a business conversation, and not everybody has to end up into a lead, but some people, you know, just want to say, hey, by the way, man, you have just such an amazing smile, great freaking energy, and that person, that could shift that person's day, because everybody's going through something inside of their own head, and everybody's something, like, even for myself, you know, some people are like, oh, this guy must be a fucking robot. Dude, we share all the same problems. I got something inside of my head saying, hey, please understand me, in different formats. I wish somebody can understand me. Damn. I wish somebody can maybe just toss me a compliment today. So like one compliment can shift somebody's whole fucking day and doesn't have to, you know, translate back into business. I always say it's like, you know, your character and your leadership is based on how you treat people that have or can have zero fucking impact towards your business. That's how your morals and your ethics are fucking tested. It's like how you treat people with kindness, and those people have zero impact towards your fucking, you know, income or your financial statement.
Yeah, you have nothing to gain from it.
Yeah, you have nothing to gain from them. That's, you know, your true fucking character. Like, I don't need anything from this transaction, right? So
that's a powerful place to live in, though.
Yeah, of course. But yeah.
It's funny, I was going to ask you how the energy was in Miami, and you talked about the elevator.
Yeah. I mean, Florida is amazing right now. Florida is one of the greatest cities right now to live in. Personally, it's I've traveled everywhere. You guys are like, well, Vegas is amazing.
Well, I went to Miami. I considered moving to Miami.
That we could live in Miami.
Like, if I were to go into a place next, it would be in Miami. Because like when I went there for Grant's event a couple years back, I was like, the energy there was just complete. The restaurants and just the energy, and it's just like,
now it's even tenfold because everybody went there after everything happened in the last 2 years. The mayor, you know, he's a fucking superstar there because he kept the city running, and now it's like, obviously, you know, the real estate there is like, you know, much higher, but everybody, you know, a lot of people left from California, Texas, you know, state taxes. Obviously, you know, Florida state taxes, it's better. So, you know, even myself, you know, from Toronto, the weather, the taxes, everybody's moving down to Miami. All the entrepreneurs are moving down there. A lot of celebrities are moving down there. And I don't think I'd probably stay in Miami. I'd probably move 20 minutes south now, probably to a, you know, a nicer home with a little bit more comfort, you know, but Miami's just amazing. Florida's amazing. Well, I'm happy this guy set everything up. Like, the guy came up to me yesterday.
No, he's great.
Because I put up a post, right, saying if somebody wants to be on my podcast, you know, let me know, hit me up, blah, blah, blah. If you want me to be on somebody's podcast, this was like 4 months ago. I was in the car. I'm like, if you want me on your show or you want me to be on somebody else's show, let me know.
Oh,
right?
Damn, that's how long ago it was. I remember when he did that.
It was like a few months ago.
Yeah, he was like, I'm going to get this guy on our podcast.
And I said, when people hit me up and they're like, oh, can you do the show? I'm like, nope, I don't want to do virtuals anymore. Right. So I like rarely do I want to do the virtual thing because we've been doing the virtual thing for the last year and a half, you know, over, you know, the pandemic. So I said, I don't want to do. I'm like, but if you have a show in person and I'm in the city, I'll rock it out. So he came up to me yesterday, you know, and then he said, hey,
how
you want
did
to
he
do the
address
podcast?
you? I want to know.
He just came up to me. He's like, hey, dude, you remember when you made that post about doing the podcast? And I was like, oh yeah, I do remember. He said, hey, my friends, you know, they have a podcast here in Las Vegas. Oh no, they have a podcast. They would love to be on it. And I said, okay. I'm like, you know, like, just send me over the information. And then I said, wait, is the podcast in Vegas? And he said, yeah. I'm like, well, I have tomorrow time, you know, at 11, 12 o'clock. We could rock out a podcast. Let's do it. He's like, okay, do you want to know? I'm like, no, I don't care about it. Just tell me the address.
Oh, I love that.
I'm like, I don't want to hear it. I told him, I'm like, I don't want to hear about it. Tell me, what's his number? Oh, right here. Look, he said,
I love it.
He just sent me podcast 10 a.m. I'm like, send me the address. I'm like, I don't want to hear anything else. Just send me the address, right? He just texts me the address. I'm like, I don't want to know, name a show, who it is, whatever. If it's in person, let's fucking rock out with it.
He texts us and he's like, please tell me you can make 10 a.m. happen. And I was
fucked
like,
with him. I was like, what time?
I didn't even know who it was. And I said, let's go. We can do it. We have
Then
that.
he told you I was coming on?
And then he told me who it was. And I was like, okay, I got to do some good questions for this one. Like,
this was fun. I enjoyed this.
I never bring my phone because I love to be here and present. And but I was like, I want to make sure I ask every question when I've got you my presence.
Yeah.
I appreciate you.
Yeah.
It's been fun.
Yeah. The energy exchange has been amazing.
Like,
I appreciate you coming out today. That was great.
Yeah.
And it's funny, like, I love Eddie. Like, that dude's like a brother to me because, like, watching him grow.
So what does he do?
He's our video guy.
Okay, cool.
But, like, I've been doing media for 6 years because I've been in real estate so long. And, like, I started media 6 years ago, and, like, every day I would film. And, like, I've went through videographers that have outgrown them. They didn't grow with me.
It's hard. It's hard
you
to
know, they're creators, and, you know, you just go through that, you know, just go through people. And, you know, I found him.
I fire him every week and hire him back.
You know, it's crazy.
I'm joking. I've been with Steve for like fucking 4 years.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
You know, it's cool, but
I
like,
fired so many fucking people. There's nobody that can keep up with me.
Well, that's
I
the
wanna-
thing.
I want to talk
Steve's
about
the only guy that
firing
can,
people.
Steve's the
Let's-
only guy that can keep up with me. And it's not even just because like, oh, I'm fast paced. You just gotta deal. It's on a different. It's not even because I'm fast paced. You know, sometimes obviously that intimidates a person that doesn't like to work hard. Okay, that's fucking normal. You could find anybody that fucking works hard. I found shooters that work hard, videographers that work hard. Because Steve was in California one place, so sometimes like I have to bring people that's, you know, in Toronto, you know, to film me at my office every single day in Toronto. So like I went through a lot of people, and Steven would only come on big tours with me and big shows and big events. And then when I noticed, I'm like, you know, why do I just stick with Steve, right? Like, you know, me and Steve can do an event that takes like 4 people, 8 people on production, and then we can rock it out, you know, because we know how to direct it properly. It's just more of like, you know, understanding each other. And it's also more of just like, you know, we're very vision focused as well. So I don't want to work with somebody that just wants an immediate transaction. Like we take a lot of fucking hits. Like, I mean, Steven can see too, you know, in my business, like I don't accept things that are just like, you know, in it for money. So like we build a vision out together, right? So like what keeps us motivated together, and we work on ideas together, and we're like both directors of this movie together, right? And I think another huge thing is like, you know, I do business with people I want to do life with. So if I wasn't able to spend a week with somebody and have fun with that somebody or share ideas with that somebody, then I just wouldn't want to fucking do it. It's like I just wouldn't want to travel with that person. So it has to be also at ease, at comfort, and it doesn't feel like there's added weight to production or anything like that. Like he's supposed to minimize my stress, right? And I increase his stress, but like I am the hardest guy to fucking. Steve, am I fucking difficult to work with? Well, the thing is this, I am a director myself. Like Steve knows this. Like I don't let nobody touch my shit.
The funny thing, that's how I am.
Yeah,
like,
yeah,
I edit
yeah.
my own shit. When Eddie comes
Yeah,
here,
yeah.
he's like, I want to watch you edit, bro, because like I edit all my own shit. I know how this works. Like we're gonna do this together. I want to be a part of this. Like I want to like let me help you like creative direct on this, because like
Yeah.
there's some things
And then you want to
see-
do your own stuff.
Well, I had to let it go, and that's why I
Same.
keep trying to like. All
Right.
right, we need to get somebody, but I'm like, but I do it better, and this can be
Right,
perfect,
right.
and I had to relinquish that.
Finally delegate.
Eddie is like just been my match. He like runs with it. The reason we have this podcast is because I
This
threw out
is
the
Eddie.
idea. He came at me with it. He's like, "Here's the shit. I bought all the shit. We built it, and then we started doing it." Of
course, yeah,
it's
yeah,
just
yeah.
it's something I wanted. He called me out on it. I'm like, okay, lean into that. I'm gonna lean into this.
Right.
But he fucking listens.
Yeah.
And he's present. Some video guys, they're just there. You know, they get the
Yeah.
shot, and they're there to get the shot. Dude, you should see him when he's here. It's just like he's listening, actively listening. So like watching him grow.
He
and
didn't want to
develop.
leave today.
Yeah.
Like you wouldn't even believe what he did for this. So he has this gig, he lines this up, and then he shows up with his buddy, and I was like, "You're not leaving me on
He's
this
like-
podcast
he's like,
of
"Hey, I'm
all
gonna go
podcasts."
leave.
He's
And I
like,
was
"I'll
like-
get it all set up. I've got you because I've got to go back to that." But that shows
He's like,
his
have 30
hustle.
minutes.
You know, he's like, "I have 30 minutes to get you set up and get back to my event and get you." And he's like, "I promise, I got you. Like, I got you." And I was like, and I trust him, so like, I'm thankful for him.
And
I-
you do the audio?
We never met him.
Oh no way.
this our,
Me and Eddie work together.
yeah.
Oh, okay.
But it's our first time meeting him.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
So Eddie places him in position, and
Bro,
Yeah.
Eddie
Eddie
made it
trusts
happen.
him, and Eddie's like, okay,
Oh, yeah.
gotcha. Yeah, yeah. Of
Well,
course,
Eddie was
of course.
freaking out, of course, but I mean, he's two
course.
places at once. You got to.
Oh, because Eddie's doing the event.
He's
right?
doing the event, and he did this for us. So
Yeah,
that's
yeah,
why
yeah.
he's so ride or die.
Yeah.
Like he rides for us, and we ride for him as far as like what we do for each other. Like,
Of course, yeah.
He brings
yeah.
value, we bring value to him, and like
Yeah, of course.
we
That's the
see
way it
his
should
value.
be. That's the way it should be. We work the same way, you know? Like we're always just thinking, you know, like bigger picture and stuff. We don't let small shit get to us. You learn different stuff as you like, you know, the bunch of shit that like just so out of like sometimes like out of Steve's scope of work that he'd be like, okay, this is how like Daniel wants it. Every client's different. So like it took, you know, a while to adjust from what maybe he's used to doing for another client. You know, I have different demands and stuff. And then after that, I don't even have to, you know, think twice of what we're doing or what the role is and what, like, you know, when the camera's on, when the camera's off, how the camera's shot, blah, 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 right? So it's like, you know, I just learned how to work with somebody that's in complete ebb and flow. I think it's important. I think, you know, the people around you can add more stress to what you do, you know, to the point where it's like, if you want to constantly do everything yourself, then you're probably not with the right person, right? There's some things obviously that you want to have control inside of the business. Like I control some of the things inside of media, but there's some things where I just got to be like, fuck, I gotta listen to Steve, even though I don't think of it. I gotta fucking trust it. Okay, fuck, that actually looked good. You know? Because I like, I'm like, Steve, back up. back up, Steve. And he's like, bro, it's a wide angle lens. I'm like, what does that mean? I'm like, just back up, bro. I need the full body. He's like, don't worry, man. I'm like, why is it so close to my face? Then you look at the shot, you're like, okay,
Damn, you know what
he's good at that, right? Like, I'm not gonna tell the barber how to cut my hair, right? Allow him to do what he has to do. And then after, if we have to critique, we have to critique. It's just going to go through this conversation every single day.
I feel like laughing. You both are alike in that way. Like I'm like, I don't know. He asked me today about the.
I was like 30%, 50%, or 100%. It changes the green light because we had green light on our faces and we didn't know we could fucking turn it down till today. Pressed a button, we toned it down.
What green light,
dude?
Oh, it's coming too heavy?
Dude, this is only at 30 or 40%. I put it at 100%, you have green light on your face. So, so I hate the lighting.
Right,
It's really tricky getting all this where it's like your face isn't all green or blue.
I get it, because you have blue, red, green, and then the white lights.
Well, I change it every time based off the, so everybody's background is a little bit different. So it's not all the same. So like you got to.
I like this setup.
Yeah.
You know, I like the setup too because it's carpeted, right? It's good, it's homey, it's nice.
Yeah.
I like the setup.
Thank you.
Yeah, Eddie challenged him. He's like, can I buy it? I said, buy it, let's do it. I don't want to know how much you spend. Let's just get it done because this is what I like. Fun. And I didn't realize that like I would get to meet so many cool individuals and like that inspire me and give me ideas to be better and stuff like that through
it's giving back to the world, like sharing with other people your experiences. And, I think it's amazing, what you can do. And I think one of the things you said is like giving back and like the fact that what sales did to your life. And I never really heard it or thought of it in that light of like how sales really changed my life.
Yeah, it accepts you. Like
was it when you said
it really does. It accepts you, man. It accepts you. It doesn't like if you're willing to work hard, sales, I feel like it always accepts somebody with like hunger and desire. And also like another thing is like sometimes people don't realize, the shot that they have within sales and business. Sometimes it's like if I played soccer growing up, but if I'm in my city and I am the 40th best soccer player, I'm not getting paid fucking jack shit in my city if I'm the 40th best. Maybe the 20th best, maybe you're getting paid a little bit in the city. But if I'm the fucking 40th best in my city at soccer, I'm not getting paid jack shit. But if I'm the 40th best at sales inside of my city, I can make millions every single fucking year. So then I looked at that, I'm like, sales is the fucking way to go. Business is the way to go. Right?
100%.
You got so much more of an opportunity in sales and business than I feel like you have in anywhere else.
100%.
Right? So, yeah.
I had an ex that used to say, "Stop selling me," and I'm like, everything
Isn't
in
that
life,
cool?
Everything is a sale.
everything in life is sales. Like everything, like either you're being sold or I'm being sold, like one or the other.
Yeah.
Yeah, sales is key to life.
My parents stopped saying that to me. They're like, okay, how do I navigate it? I'm not going to say stop selling me to this guy anymore. What do I say? Why do I change up the line? Because I'm just going to say I'm not.
All right.
It's like an objection for them. They're going to say no, and they're going to see how I deal with the no. I've been like that since I was young, yeah. They'd always say stop selling me when I was young.
Where are they at now?
My parents are still in Toronto.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're still in Toronto. Yeah. I'll go back.
Have they ever humbly accepted that they were incorrect about university and like your success?
No, I mean, I don't. My parents were never like when I dropped out of school. It's that they were never unsupportive of it.
Oh,
you know,
awesome.
they were
That's
never.
cool.
They were. I feel like my parents looked at me and, they had some sort of faith in me.
Mm-hmm.
Like, when I dropped out of school, because I felt like they knew that I was making some money, and they're like, okay, this guy's doing it for the betterment of himself. Mm-hmm. And the reason why they had faith in me is because I didn't drop out and, get into alcohol or get into like, or go to like parties and stuff like that. Like I dropped out with the intention to work and to build, right? Mm-hmm. So they kind of let me do my thing, as like, as a, a free spirit and let me do my thing. So I think, they're just more proud than anything, and they support me more than ever. They're like my number one fans, my parents. And I wouldn't be where I was today if it wasn't for my parents, because when I grew up, in the beginning, you always think it's like a negative situation, if your parents split up, but I don't think I would have the work ethic that I would have today, if I didn't watch my parents work so hard when I was young. Because like, your ethics is what you stand for, and it's your morals and your standards, right? So like my standards were just set so high because my parents worked so fucking hard, right? So like, I don't think I would be where I am today if I didn't see my parents, working hard and providing, and just always being honest and always being true, and just being giving. Like I wouldn't be where I am today. So like, my parents, I'm not the type of, maybe like my grandparents probably had some like doubt. I think everybody has doubt. You know, as you're building, when it's a little bit blurry for people, you know, everybody obviously has doubt because like, what's a sales agency? What's sales training in their head? There's no job title to that. There's no blueprint to that. So like, you know, obviously it's cloudy for them. So it didn't really make sense to them up until probably last year, until it's real. You know, until like, oh, you know, somebody's like showing my dad in the office a video of me. And they're like, yo, do you know that guy? And then my dad's like, oh, that's like my son. And then it starts happening more and more. And then my dad's like, good job. I'm like, oh, it only took 4 years. Because see, when I'm in sales, my parents like, oh, fuck, he's doing good because he's in B2B sales. He has a nice super, he's doing good. So like now they're like, oh, he dropout kid, he got into a sales job, great job. Because you could see that he works for a company, he's getting a check, he's doing commissions, he's driving a nice BMW, I'm fucking young. So they got that game that I'm doing well. There's a fucking award that says you're doing well. But now when I said, hey guys, by the way, I'm going into entrepreneurship, I'm doing this, this, and this, I'm creating this agency, I'm telling my plans over the last few years, they're confused. A confused mind, it's hard for a confused mind to, you know, support you completely because they're still trying to think about it themselves. So I'm not like trying to convince these people that I'm on this amazing fucking path. I'm like, eventually when it's so physical, then they'll give me a clap and I'm gonna be grateful for when that clap comes. When it's so physical, when it physical means like when there's 2,000 people on a stage, when there's hundreds of videos being produced, when somebody shows my dad a video, that gets more physical and physical and physical for them so they could see it. I was always doing amazing inside of my business for the last 4 years. I was crushing it, but it took a few years for my dad to say, hey, proud of you, great job. Because they were just confused a bit. You know, I didn't say, I told you so, you know, because I was just, it's like, oh, they're confused, it's fine.
I didn't realize that he told me that the day that really was like pivotal for him and me trusting in him and like believing in his vision and stuff was the day I quit my job. He's like,
right.
Dude,
I didn't believe you'd do it.
I talked all this shit. I was like, you just quit your job, change your life. Just quit your job, change your life. She's like, I'm bringing in my computer, I'm quitting. I was like, oh,
I quit.
fuck.
Like I called him
I was
March
not
23rd.
prepared for that moment. I was not at all. I just been talking a bunch of shit and knew that there was something bigger than our current situation. I was not ready for that. But when she did it, I was like, it's fucking go time. Here's my opportunity. Lean into it.
Right.
Lean into it. Let's make it happen.
Right.
I did.
Wow. It's amazing.
Yeah, because
Powerful.
we opened March of 2020 or our company. Or June. It was like June.
But you
2020.
quit before that.
Oh yeah, I quit before that. But then we
But
opened.
the company was a whole nother thing. Like we built this in fucking during COVID. Everybody's like contracting. I'm like,
Yeah, you guys
fucking
went
go
against the wave.
Go. I'm like,
The
going.
wave was coming in, you guys smashed through
fucking
it.
right. I
Yeah.
rode the wave so
I told
hard.
the guy that yesterday. They're like, how do you deal with problems? I'm like, tackle it. You know?
Oh yeah.
It's like you gotta like the noise is almost necessary for like a true better entrepreneur like yourself. It's like, you know, the noise is necessary. The difficulties and the challenges inside of business, they're like, it's not like there's two types of people. One person's like, oh, you know, 4 fucking people quit on me today and the tide fucking comes in. It's like, how do you deal with problems when 4 fucking people quit on you? Take that energy and be like, I'm going to find another 40 fucking people.
Use the energy.
Take the energy and say, I'm going to find another fucking 40 people that are going to smash it inside of my business. And those 4 people would have wished that they fucking stayed with me. Don't
yes.
complain that 4 fucking people quit because that's not going to get you nowhere. Use that noise, channel it back into your business and be like, I'm going to find the right 40 fucking people.
Oh yeah.
They quit within first months. They didn't even start the business, right? So it's like I always say, it's like if a challenge comes in, number one, you know, with problems, I think inside of business, you know, when you said the pandemic hit and stuff, I always think this, you know, there's problems will always arise inside of business. It's like, somebody says like, you know, how do you get rid of problems? Or, you know, how does my business, like I always feel like, you know, how do I get things easier inside of your business? The problems will never fucking stop inside of business. Meaning like you feel like you just get better at dealing with problems.
Oh, yeah.
It never stops because as you deal with one problem and then you solve that one problem and you're like, oh my God, I solved that one problem. We got our income up to $50,000 a month. Well, now to take it to $100,000 a month, now you got 3 employees that you got to bring in. Now you got to to learn how to manage those 3 and lead those 3 employees. Now you got a fucking another problem. So the problems never stop. You just get better at dealing with the problems. 100%. You get better at emotional management. You get better at dealing with people. It's like the problems never stop fucking coming in. Like it never just gets fucking easier. You just get better.
100%.
Right? You just learn how to, and then it's almost like you almost like embrace everything that comes in because you know, like for example, if you knew after every problem there was a peak, if you knew after every valley there was a fucking peak, you would be grateful for the valleys because you would say, holy fuck, this is a valley. Right after the valley, there's going to be a peak. Fuck. So if the easiest way to get over a valley is number one, to be grateful for the valley because every time you have a low, that indicates that at one point you had a high. So meaning if somebody's experienced a low inside of their sales or inside of their business and somebody's like, man, I'm stuck in this valley. Well, you just indicated that number one, you were at a high at once. And number two, if you can recognize that if you have a low, that means you're at a high. Well, now let's go into problem solving. How did you get to that high so we can get out to the valley a lot quicker? Number three, let's jump into a state of gratitude that you're in a valley. Because if you're in imagine every single time you hit a valley inside of business or inside of sales, you're like, fuck yes. Because once I solve this, once I solve this problem, there's gonna be a peak right around the corner. Then you would be fucking thrilled to solve that fucking problem rather than being negative. So that energy would get you to solve that problem a lot quicker just because you were grateful for the valley. So the more grateful for I am because I know a peak's right around the corner, that energy is going to allow me to solve the problem a lot quicker. So there's so many things when I'm like in this foggy area, because it's not like everybody's like, oh, this is a big problem. You're just a little bit foggy. That's it. You're just a little bit blurry. You're lacking it. So it's like, hey, when you were doing good, okay, what were you doing when you were doing good? And what's the number one action I can do to just get me out of fog? I don't got to think when somebody's stuck inside a business, don't think big picture. Think one hustle. What's the next step? What's like that one thing just to get me out? What's the one thing just to get, is it a live stream? Is it a cold call? Is it this? Is it that? You just need one thing because that one thing might click an endorphin or dopamine just to get you back on track. The problem is when people are in a fog, they start thinking like, oh, I should be making $1 million. Oh, I should be like this person, blah, blah, blah. You just got to do one thing. Just like one live stream,
do something.
Shift it. Just one task. Like what's the number one task that you can do and that you can control, right?
Or what are you going to commit to?
Action.
What are you
it's
going
like one level of action. Will get you out of it. Yeah.
Just action.
It's like you don't gain. It's like, well, man, how do I gain energy and stuff? It's like you get energy through action because somebody's going to say yes. That yes is going to create a sense of energy. That's how you get energy, right? You got to generate it somehow. The power plant has to generate the energy. So it's like, I got to generate the energy somehow. Or then you get it fucking stuck in to the comparison game and you're like, oh, this person's doing that. And then you get all demotivated and everything like this. Yeah.
It's very rare that I know who you are because I don't pay attention to anybody.
Right.
But you caught my eye along the way because of your sales thing, and I like to watch salespeople.
Yeah.
You're a high level salesperson.
Yes.
Your communication, you communicate at a very high level.
You made me connect with you, but most of the time I walked up to a guy that has like 1 million followers. At a real estate thing, asked him how to get more content people before we met Eddie, and he was like mind blown that I didn't know who he was because I don't pay attention. Like it's the devil for me.
Right.
Like I just focus on me, focus on what I'm doing and all of that. But
well, I think it's more of just like you vibe out with people that know their stuff. Maybe it's because you know your stuff and you know your stuff and I know my stuff. So it's like in order for somebody to, you got to say, hey, that person's actually doing it. They know their stuff in order for you. Because I'm the same way. Like I listen to 1 or 2 people online. Like I'm not listening to, everybody, these hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of experts. I can name off like one hand or the people. I think, one individual that I really, respect is Patrick. But David, he's awesome. I think he's done such an amazing job at, his content. I think his leadership is amazing. He's a phenomenal salesperson. He's the first person when I actually got into my own business and running my own business. I had my first ever conversation with him. It was like a YouTube podcast and I just wanted to like interview him. And ever since that conversation, it made me think a little bit different. I studied not just like the message, but the way he operates, the way he communicates. I think he's an amazing fucking entrepreneur. He's done such an amazing job with his YouTube channel. Like he's somebody I love, tuning into and listening to.
I'll have to look him up.
Yeah,
really? Are you serious?
Yeah, he's awesome.
Oh,
he's awesome.
That's what
he's
I'm
one of the
you.
people I actually like.
He's
value
great.
his shit. He has good value
entertainment's his thing. No pun intended. So he runs an insurance agency.
You know who
right?
he is, the insurance agency guy.
Oh.
Yes, He's like a fucking badass Andy Frisella type, like just like rips it off, like.
I think I probably do.
Maybe he'll show you a video.
Yeah.
He's awesome. He's awesome. Yeah.
I like to consume good things. So
How have you built your community? Because I saw you post on your Instagram, and you've built quite a fucking huge community, and you did touch on a little bit.
providing value.
Your lives where nobody was on there, but you were doing the reps. You're getting that in. Is there anything else you can add to that?
I mean, my community, you know, I just don't do shit to do shit like on my Instagram. I treated my social media like it's a fucking job, you know? Like some people, you know, when I was posting, they make the post just to make the post and said they made a fucking post. Right? So it's like, okay, I made the post, but really it's like the fucking pre-post and it's the after post. Like, you know, there's so much that goes into a post. It's like, are you sharing the post? Are you going on a live stream to fucking promote the post and telling them to tag 2 friends and maybe doing a giveaway to that post? Are you in groups to try to get people to like the post and to share the post? You know, there's just so much stuff. So I'm like, it's not just like, oh, I just fucking posted it. Okay, but like what after, you know? Like I'm crazy with that shit. Like when I used to post, I would literally like, I'm fucking weird, but I would put energy like into my post. So I would be like, I'd walk around my office and I'm like, this post, and I'm literally giving a vibration to my phone and I'm like, this post is gonna fucking hit. You watch. All my sales guys are like, everybody's gonna need this fucking post. I'm like, you watch. When I post this is gonna go fucking viral. So it's not even like what you do after the post. It's like I'm putting so much fucking energy and intention into that fucking post, and I'm just like, watch this hit, watch this hit, watch this hit. I'm translating into that post. Because it's the same way when you were talking the law of attraction, the energy thing, it's like I'm pouring energy into that post. You know, like I think energy. So much of it, you know, I'm putting all my energy into it. So I treated this thing like it was just another job. I spent so much time understanding it. I'm always keeping up to date with it. I'm seeing what works. I'm seeing what doesn't work. I'm never being egotistical and sticking to one thing. We're changing up the formats. I stick with my audience to the end. These guys see it. When I'm at a show, I'm always like, you know, the last guy to leave, answering every single question. I'm always, you know, responding back to people in the comments. I try to get to all my DMs. You know, right now it's a lot because there's a lot of in-mail. So I try to get to them. But then I tell my audience, like, hey, if you guys really have questions, show up to a live stream if I can't get you inside of the DM, because it's almost virtually impossible. But I say I can save all my energy so I can meet you guys at full capacity inside of my live stream. And then you'll just, you know, it's funny too, because you'll notice who's just trying to withdraw from you because they're just having a fucking bad day, or who really wants some sort of fucking help, or who's just there to fucking complain inside of the fucking DM. And I'm not for the complainers. So you'll notice, right, when I say, go ask me that question on a live stream at 10:10, only 17 people will ask me a question on the live stream at 10:10, but 170 people message me inside of the DM. But when I say go message me today inside of the 10:10 live stream, they don't fucking show up because they're not serious about the question. Or I say, send me an email to this. If you're serious about it, send me an email to this. And why do only 4 people send me the email? Because they're not disciplined about it. So then you start realizing, when I say, hey, I save my energy, you could see the people that actually want fucking help. They will go the extra mile to go inside of the live stream to answer the question. Most people aren't serious about it. So they'll ask you a question, and then most people feel compelled that they have to reply to everybody. But I'm going to save, imagine I had to reply to 780 people a day about all their questions, or I just say, hey, listen, guys, I go on a story, ask me your questions on a live stream today so we can rock out for 2 hours and boom, 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 rapid fire Q&A. But if they can't show up to the live stream and ask me the question, then they were not serious about the question in the first place. So they're just, and the bigger you get, the more people are going to withdraw your energy. Everybody's going to want something for you. You make more money, 7 accountants are going to start calling you up now. No accountants called me up before, but now you have a little bit more energy and you're a little bit more public. People are going to want to start stealing your energy because they're a little bit low energy, or people want to bring you down, or people are going to comment you, or people are going to want to fucking hate on you, and they're going to try to steal your fucking energy. Again, I don't let it happen. Mm-hmm. You know, I hold my energetic center.
So what are some of your non-negotiables that help you with that? In addition to the one that you mentioned earlier, that's like no negativity.
Yeah, no complaining, no negativity is one of, you know, my non-negotiables. You know, I think one for me is, you know, don't ever, as being somebody in sales, I don't let ever people come up to me with generic problems. And what I mean by that is I don't let somebody come up to me and say, hey, I'm struggling in sales this month. So that's a non-negotiable for me, because you just blurbed sales. Blurb sales means this. You just said, I'm struggling with sales. Whoa. What do you mean you're struggling with sales? Don't generalize sales. You're blurbing the sales game. That's a general problem. What do you mean you're struggling with sales? Well, I'm struggling with sales. And then it'll come back to me with a specific problem. Hey, Daniel, I hit up 87 people this week. The common denominator between hitting up these 87 people is that they're saying X, Y, Z. How would you work with that? Now we got a specific problem. So now the person has an action-based problem rather than just a fucking general-based problem where they never fucking did anything. So you could see people's types of questions when they're like, hey, you know, I'm struggling. You know, my sales are low. I'm not good at closing. General, specific. Hey, listen, when I'm closing this person out, would you hang up the phone? Because I had this client, say I'm going to get to it, and I hung up the phone and they never called. Would you stay on the line with them? Would you? Oh, okay, now we got a specific problem. I like to work with this person because this person actually took action, and now they're actually an action-based, problem because I know they committed and they tried it first.
They're really looking for the solution.
They tried before asking. You know what I mean? They looked before asking. They know Daniel's busy. Don't come to me with the bull. Oh, I'm struggling with sales, right? But a girl walks into the store yesterday at CVS. Right away, before she put her fucking head up, she looked left, seen the person left her. Hey, where's the makeup section? I'm like, you're standing in it. Look up. She's like, oh, do you work here? She went to go ask the person beside her that worked there. She went to go walk to the person to say, hey, where's the makeup section? And then I'm like, it's right there. Did you look? You didn't look. There's signs right there. It says 1, groceries. 2, hair and makeup. Aisle 2, man. Oh, you work here? No, I just looked up. She didn't want to look. You didn't fucking try. Everybody wants to be fucking lazy. How do I do this? They want the answer right away. Did you look? Did you try? Right?
I love it.
Thank you for tuning in today's show, One Hustle, the One Hustle Show. Like this video. If it gave you any value, let us know what you think in the comments. Share it with your friends and let them know what resonated with you. I appreciate you, man. Thank you so much, Daniel.
Where can we find you?
Yep.
Go on Instagram at Daniel G. It's the easiest place, at Daniel G. And then everything's in there. Like, you guys want to keep up to date, just get on my live streams 10:10, I have a community. The link's in my bio. You guys can always come inside of my community. It's fun. And my Instagram, honestly, is... it's a university sometimes within itself. Like, you could scroll through it.
I agree.
I'm looking forward to learning more from you and watching you now.
Yeah. Like, you could go through it and sometimes you can get a question answered. I'm like, you don't even have to fucking take a sales course sometimes. I put so much into there sometimes, like so much valuable content that it just isn't fluff, where it's like, if somebody says no to you and I have to speak to my spouse, this is how you deal with the spouse objection. Clip it on and I put it on. I love suffocating my audience in value. So yeah, Daniel G. Appreciate you guys having me.
Absolutely. Thanks, man.
Pleasure.
Thank you.